Today, we are here to finish what you started. Today, you've lost control. Today, we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families.
Cutting testimony from the victims' families as a judge sentenced Brian Koberger to spend the rest of his life in prison.
I will call you what you are. Sociopath, psychopath, murderer. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your Thank you.
Thank you.
Good Morning Idaho starts right now.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Good morning, Idaho. I'm Allie Tripke. We've got a lot to get to this morning from Koberger's sentencing yesterday. The convicted murderer will spend the rest of his life behind bars, and we've got full team coverage on all aspects of the case, from the victim's family impact statements to new court documents released overnight. More on that in just a moment. But first, let's check in with Sophia Cruz for a look of our weather on this beautiful Thursday morning. Sophia?
Thanks, Allie. Yeah, it's going to be nice and comfortable as you head out for your morning. So good morning to you. It's Thursday. Tomorrow will be our Friday. And as we get ready for the morning together, you've got upper 60s as you head into 8 a.m., mid 80s by 12 o'clock. So lots of sunshine today. Going to be nice and comfortable. We'll top out in those lower 90s. And same story goes even as we look at tomorrow. It's going to be a pretty copy and paste forecast. You've got upper 60s to start the day. Then by the time we head into late afternoon, 95 as we head into Friday. So just a little bit toastier. Now, this is merely a warm up for what's in store for next week. We have triple digits on the horizon, as well as some chances of storms. I'll be breaking all the details for you coming up in just a bit. Allie?
Thanks so much, Sophia. Well, we start this morning with the victims' families and their ranging emotions during their impact statements, from rage to uncontrollable grief. Our Dawn Nelson brings you to the courtroom Wednesday.
For Idaho News 6, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson outside the Ada County Courthouse. Today was a day for the families of the victims to speak out and look Brian Koberger in the eye and tell him what they thought in and outside the courthouse. As the victims' families left the courthouse, they embraced, as almost to say, it's over.
This way, his fate is sealed. Society is protected, and we can move on with our lives and attempt to recover.
The families took turns addressing the throngs of media waiting for them outside. Steve Gonzalez explained why he moved the podium inside the courtroom so he could face his daughter's killer.
I wanted to let him know that I was directing everything towards him, and his days of being protected are coming to an end. I remember reading it saying, "Do not move." So I was like, well, I'm moving this. I just kind of made that decision right then and there. So, I want to make it as difficult as possible. I knew my daughter was going to do a speech, and I'd heard it, and I was like, he's going to hate this. He's going to hate this next set of people that are going to come forward and really rip into him and really expose him for what kind of a piece of trash he was.
In the courtroom, Kaylee's older sister, Olivia, followed with stinging words pointed at the convicted killer.
I'm not here today to speak in grief. I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be.
This is probably going to bother everybody, but Brian, I'm here today to tell you I have forgiven you, because I no longer could live with that hate in my heart. And for me to become a better person, I have forgiven you. And anytime you want to talk and tell me what happened, get my number. I'm here. No judgment. Because I do have answers or questions that I want you to answer.
As Steve Gonzalez walked away, I asked him this.
Was this the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life today? The words that came out of your mouth, looking him, a cold killer in his eyes?
Yeah, it was
my whole family, to have my whole family be put into a position where you're vulnerable in there, and you're facing the killer that killed your own family. So it was tough. It was hard, but we knew it had to be said. We knew we couldn't make it easy for this person. We got to make these things tougher and hold people accountable, and that was our goal.
Reporting from outside the Ada County Courthouse in downtown Boise, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson, Idaho News 6.
It's an outcome years in the making. Brian Koberger sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, and the murder case that once gripped the nation is coming to a close, and the media circus is starting to pack up. But I was inside the courthouse on Wednesday as the emotional final chapter played out. Inside the courtroom, before a word was even spoken, you could hear the pain.
What happened that night changed everything. Because of him, four beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason.
Dylan Mortensen, one of the two surviving roommates, began her statement in tears, hyperventilating as she faced the man now convicted of upending her world. For the first time since the attack, we heard words from both roommates, offering long-awaited answers.
I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there.
So much mystery surrounded that morning, many wondering why it took hours to call 911.
I woke up around 7 with a terrible toothache, so I called my dad, who is a dentist. I was still out of it and still didn't know what happened. That was the worst day of my life, and I know it always will be.
Bethany Funk's statement, read by a close friend, described her confusion that morning, her enduring guilt, and the relentless online harassment that followed. She also revealed the fear that has gripped her ever since. Then Mortensen took to the podium, her voice trembling as she shared the lasting trauma of what she survived.
He took away who they were becoming and the futures they were going to have. But I'm still trying. And I'm not trying just for me. I'm trying for them, my friends. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
As their words echoed through the courtroom, all eyes turned to Brian Koberger, sitting silently and stone-faced as the courtroom echoed with raw grief and anguish. Koberger never offered an apology, an explanation, or little more than a glance towards the victims' families. Just feet behind him sat his mother and sister, both present for the sentencing. Neither addressed the court, and the defense declined to take questions, a stark contrast to the outpouring of emotion from the other side of the courtroom. And in a long-awaited news conference after the hearing, officials answered questions that have loomed since November 13th of 2022.
Do you have a motive?
We don't, to this date, found a single connection between him and any of the 4 victims or the 2 surviving roommates.
Investigators also revealed that despite rigorous efforts, they never found the murder weapon, but they did seem to confirm that Kaylee Gonzalez was stabbed 34 times. They say they monitored Koberger's jail calls, but found nothing of value. Investigators adding that his family never offered any evidence or tips for the investigation, and his demeanor when arrested, calm and relaxed. And if not for the knife sheath, they believe they still would have found him by tracking the white Elantra. In the end, prosecutors argued no words from Koberger would offer clarity or truth.
I don't believe that there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would be the truth.
Judge Hippler echoed that, sharply condemning Koberger before locking him away for good.
His grotesque acts of evil have buried and hidden anything that might have been good or intrinsically human about him. I remand the defendant to the custody of the Idaho State Board of Corrections for to be imprisoned in an appropriate facility and execution of the sentence where he will remain until he dies.
You can find continued coverage on police reports and new evidence and the emotional family testimony on IdahoNews6.com. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
The University of Idaho releasing a statement yesterday afternoon not mentioning the college murderer by name and saying in part the sentencing of a man admitting to killing 4 young, ambitious vandals in their off-campus apartment on November 13th, 2022 marks the end to a drawn-out criminal case and brings some sense of justice to our vandal family. We will not forget the 4 we lost on that fateful day. Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. We hope healing can come with time.
In a surprise move, House lawmakers are demanding access to the Jeffrey Epstein files. I'm Ashley Glass with the headlines we're covering here at Scripps News. House Oversight Subcommittee voted to subpoena the Justice Department for documents related to the late convicted sex offender. Committee Chair James Comer also subpoenaed Epstein's former associate Ghislaine Maxwell for a deposition next month. Sources say Attorney General Pam Bondi recently told President Trump his name appears in some documents, along with other high-profile figures. It's not clear how significant the references to Trump are in the files. Columbia University will pay the federal government more than $220 million to settle allegations it violated anti-discrimination laws. The deal restores federal grants that were frozen or terminated by the Trump administration. Columbia denies any wrongdoing, says the agreement includes policy changes already announced, including restrictions on campus demonstrations. The settlement comes just one day after the university disciplined dozens of students who participated in pro-Palestinian protests. And thousands of Ukrainians are protesting for a second day against a new law they say weakens anti-corruption watchdogs. The demonstrations mark the first major public opposition to President Zelensky's government since Russia's invasion started. Critics say the legislation gives Zelensky's circle more control over corruption investigations. The president has now promised to propose a new bill to protect the agency's independence.
Turning back to the Epstein files, the Wall Street Journal now reports President Trump's name appears in the files multiple times. And it comes as Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, is expected to sit down with the Justice Department to discuss potential accomplices. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
This morning, reaction is pouring in following a Wall Street Journal report that President Trump's name appears in the Jeffrey Epstein files multiple times. The Wall Street Journal reports President Trump was told back in May by Attorney General Pam Bondi that he was listed in the Epstein files along with other high-profile names. Being named in the files is not evidence of any wrongdoing, but last week, when pressed by ABC's Catherine Folders, Trump denied Bondi told him his name was in the files.
Did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
Bondi now responding to the Wall Street Journal's report, saying, quote, nothing in the files warranted further investigation or prosecution, adding, as part of our routine briefing, we made the president aware of the findings. It comes as Deputy Attorney General and former Trump attorney Todd Blanche is expected to meet with Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell today in Tallahassee, Florida. Sources familiar with the matter tell ABC News. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year sentence for child trafficking and could discuss potential accomplices in Epstein's international sex ring. The House Oversight Committee has voted to subpoena Maxwell to testify under oath as part of an investigation into how Epstein evaded accountability for decades. Republicans joining Democrats in also voting to subpoena the Justice Department to release the full Epstein files. On Capitol Hill, questions are growing from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle.
Trump denied being informed that his name was in those files. We need to bring Bondi and Patel into the Judiciary Committee to testify about this now.
Just be done with it. Be done with it. If in fact there's no there for the president, get it out there. Just get it out there and be done.
A federal judge in Florida denied the Justice Department's request to unseal the grand jury transcripts into Epstein. That request was one of 3 made by the Justice Department in both New York and Florida. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
In Caldwell, West Valley Medical Center launches a new mental health program.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Happy Thursday, everyone, or Friday Eve. Your time right now is 6:18. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. I'm taking you to Twin Falls, where it's a nice, beautiful start to the morning here. If you're waking up, enjoy that nice sunrise that you're getting. Also, enjoy the nice cool weather. You're sitting in the mid-60s at the moment, and as we continue to take a look around the area, it feels good for all of us. So if you're heading out for that early morning walk or jog, you're going to think that it feels pretty good. You've got lower 60s to upper 50s along your valley floors. If you're heading up in Stanley and waking up there, 39 to kick off the morning. So do grab the jacket if you're making your way out there this morning. By the afternoon, nobody should have a jacket. It's going to be really hot into our valley floors. Hottest spots on the map, 97 in Glens Ferry and 97 into Ontario. Mid-90s as you head into the upper Treasure Valley, and then throughout our mountains, you can expect those comfortable mid-80s. Now, throughout the evening today, it is going to be a warm one. So while we head into the later afternoon and evening, lower 90s into 8 o'clock, then we start to cool as the sun goes down, and you get those nice, comfortable upper 80s. So if you're heading out maybe for a later dinner today, it'll be pretty nice and warm. So you may just want to keep the short sleeves on, shorts, sunglasses, all the good. Heading into the next couple of hours, not very many changes come, but as we start to see this southerly flow make its way into our area, it does bring on that chance for isolated showers into the late evening, and this is around 6 o'clock today. We'll see that same chance as we head into our Friday, but it's not widespread impacts, and it's very localized towards our southern areas. So if you make your way into Friday, you'll find that it's nice and comfortable and clear waking up. Then again, we see those storms move in across eastern Oregon near our Owyhee Mountains, and then also into the Magic Valley. For most of us, it'll be pretty quiet through the weekend though. While it does get pretty quiet weather-wise, though, despite those few isolated showers, we will be looking at the heat returning into next week. So this shows our temperature outlook as we wrap up July and make our way into August. What it's showing us is that we have a warmer than normal outlook, which means we have a good chance of seeing above average temperatures. So taking a look as to what happens over the next couple days, because when I show you the extended forecast, you're going to want to close your eyes. Now, either way, you will look at those chances of isolated showers Thursday and Friday. Heading through the weekend, we see 2 weak cold fronts come through. Doesn't do much for our temperatures, though. It just keeps us in those lower 90s. Then by next week, we see this ridge kind of start to build from our southeast. As it does that, that's going to bring on that southerly flow, which warms us up, and then also bring on that monsoonal moisture. So we'll see that really moisture from the Gulf and the Pacific make its way into our forecast with a few isolated sprinkles. Either way, the bigger picture is going to be all about the heat. You've got lower 90s heading into your weekend, but next week, it's getting pretty hot. We could possibly see triple digits on Tuesday, if not Thursday. I'll keep you up to date about this as we head through our morning.
West Valley Medical Center has been working diligently to launch a new program aimed at meeting a critical need in the community. I'm our Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis learning the details behind the introduction of their mental health intensive outpatient program.
There's definitely a gap here in the valley.
The launch of the mental health intensive outpatient program is another addition to help provide more help to residents in the community.
Patients needed something else so they didn't have to come to the hospital and be hospitalized, stay here, sleep here.
Instead, this program provides the opportunity for patients to get the help they need and be able to go home and still get care.
So where we have an inpatient program, we also have the step down, which is partial hospitalization. But there, like Angie said, there was that big gap where partial is 20 hours a week, and then you would jump to outpatient, which is only 1 hour a week.
This new program would provide patients with more support than just 1 hour a week, offering 9 hours of treatment.
They receive medical management, med management. They receive group therapy. And in that group therapy, again, we're really digging into that research and that evidence of what works best for people with certain diagnoses, certain challenges.
Mental health has such a stigma. It's something that needs to be continually discussed, to be brought out in the open.
The directors tell me this is just the beginning, with more programs planned to support the community in the future. If you or someone is interested, visit idahonews6.com for more details. I'm our Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis for Idaho News 6.
In Burley, 5 nations coming together to share their cultures with Southern Idaho. For over 20 years, the Magic Valley Folk Festival has been exposing locals here in the Mini-Cassia region to parts of the world they may never see in person. I'm your Burley neighborhood reporter Joey Martin at Burley High School, where over 125 representatives from 5 different countries came together to showcase their cultures.
Slovenia, Brazil,
Ireland, Poland, and the good old US of A. 5 nations coming together to share the joy of their country's music and dance. Krista Gammon is the director of the Magic Valley Folk Festival. She says it's all about experiencing cultures you might not ever get to see.
I just think it's important for people in our community to learn about the world that maybe we aren't going to get to go see people in Slovenia, but we can have them come here and find out that we have more things in common than we have different.
On Wednesday, the Folk Festival took over Burley High School for Youth Culture Day as kids toured each country, experiencing traditional clothing, music, and dance.
They just are amazed usually at their costumes. They wear handmade costumes a lot of time, and they're just beautiful, and they get to interact with them and learn dances, and they have little passports they get signed, and they just think it's a fun around the world experience.
Inside the King Fine Arts Auditorium, Poland took center stage. Victoria is one of 25 students from a university in Warsaw. This is her first time in Idaho, and she's excited to share her country's traditions.
We came here to share our culture a little bit because I think we have so beautiful culture, and I want to share this with all of you here and with the whole world.
To accommodate the visitors, all 125 have been set up with local host families for the duration of the festival, allowing them a true taste of normal life right here in southern Idaho.
I can experience this culture, this American culture, and can eat your food, do the things that you do all the time, so that's amazing.
The Magic Valley Folk Festival will continue this Friday and Saturday night right here at Burley High School for the gala performances, where all 5 nations will come together and perform for the community. Doors open at 6:30, shows start at 7, and tickets are available at the door or online. Reporting in Burley, I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin, Idaho News 6.
Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Idaho. We have much more in store for you in the case against Bryan Kohberger coming up when we get back.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
Today, we are here to finish what you started. Today, you've lost control. Today we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families.
Cutting testimony from the victims' families as a judge sentenced Bryan Kohberger to spend the rest of his life in prison.
I will call you what you are. Sociopath, psychopath, murderer. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your Thank you.
Thank you.
Good Morning Idaho starts right now.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Good morning, Idaho. I'm Allie Tripke, and we've got a lot to get to this morning from Kohberger's sentencing yesterday. The convicted murderer will spend the rest of his life behind bars, and we've got full team coverage on all aspects of the case, from the victim's family impact statements to new court documents released overnight. More on all that in just a moment, but first we're going to take a look of our weather for this Thursday and bring in Sophia Cruz. Good morning.
Good morning, Allie. I will say for our morning ahead, it's going to feel really nice and cool. So as you get ready for morning, first off, good morning to you. It's Thursday, Friday's right around the corner, and as we get ready for the weekend, you'll like the mornings. The afternoons, though, that's where it'll start to heat up. So we got lower 60s heading out right now. Beautiful sunrise waking up, so if you are getting that early walk or jogging, good even picture weather. If you take any pictures, be sure to send them in on idahonews6.com. For breakfast time, we've got those upper 60s. By lunchtime, if you want to sit on the patio, you should be okay to do so. It'll be really nice and sunny and still not too hot at that time. By dinner time, lower 90s across our valley floor. Some spots do hover near that triple-digit mark, and I'll be showing you where the hottest spots on the map are. But for today, short sleeves, hats, sunglasses, all the things that can help give you a little shade out there. Now, this is merely a warm-up for next week because we have some triple digits on the horizon and also some storm chances. I'll break down all the details you need to know coming up. Allie.
Thanks, Sophia. We're going to check back in with you soon for your full forecast. Circling back to Kohberger's sentencing and specifically to the 2 surviving roommates who delivered emotional impact statements in the courtroom Wednesday.
That was the worst day of my life, and I know it always will be. Because of him, 4 beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world.
Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke are the 2 surviving roommates from the University of Idaho murders in Moscow. Wednesday, they said speaking out brings justice. Mortensen sitting down to read her heavy and tearful statement in court, appearing to ask Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson to move forward in order to block her view of her friend's murderer.
I couldn't be alone. I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there.
During the investigation, Mortensen drew this picture for the police, detailing who she saw in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. That morning, both roommates and their friend Emily called 911 after they found their roommates dead.
911 location of your emergency. Something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. She's not waking up. They saw some man in their house last night.
That same friend who helped them make the emergency call, reading Funke's statement in the courtroom Wednesday.
For a long time, I could barely get out of bed. But one day I realized I have to live for them.
The families of the victims had different responses to the plea deal that the defendant took, avoiding the death penalty if convicted by a jury. Surviving victims Mortensen and Funke shared that they are glad their friend's murderer is now behind bars for life.
And while I will still live with this pain, at least I get to live my life. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
After hours of emotional testimony, the convicted killer uttering just a few brief words.
All right, Mr. Koberger, you have an opportunity to make a statement if you wish to. I take it you are declining.
I respectfully decline.
Koberger's defense team also providing no evidence at the sentencing.
Overnight newly released documents shed light on the brutality of the murders. And just to warn you, the details are very disturbing. Unsealed autopsy information reports that at least 2 of the victims were stabbed dozens of times. Xander Kernodle received more than 50 stab wounds during the murder, mostly defensive, and Kaylee Gonzalez was stabbed more than 20 times. Madison Mogan and Ethan Chapin both died from multiple stab wounds. According to the coroner, a lot of force was used by the murderer. Also released overnight, police interviews with people who interacted with Koberger. An exotic dancer told investigators she thinks Koberger visited her club before his arrest. She said he was seated alone and talking to himself during her onstage performance. She claims he had said something about wanting to kill people, and when she asked him who, he reportedly replied, "Whoever I want." After his arrest, a fellow inmate described him as, quote, a weirdo. Another inmate said he was, quote, highly intelligent and polite, and never mentioned the crimes for which he was accused of during his time in jail.
The Koberger murder case impacted the entire country, and the media turnout was bigger than any court case I've seen, including the Daybell trials. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, and I was at the courthouse at 4 a.m. and was surprised to see media tents up already and people waiting in line to witness the sentencing in person. The Koberger case is about more than just a salacious crime drama for the people who were drawn to be at the courthouse in the middle of the night.
Justice, support the families. We've got 2 girls here from Idaho that
from U of I.
Yeah, from the university, and they're here to support the families, and we all are.
About 40 people got to sit in the courtroom for drama that brought many to tears.
She knew how precious and special life was, and she truly did live every day to the fullest. Yet her story was cut short by an act of evil.
I just want to see some sort of closure for the families. I know there's so many things that we as the general public don't even know still, that the families do know. And I just want to see it end.
The end was covered by more than 30 news organizations spilling out from the designated areas. It ends a string of high-profile court cases in Idaho that will hopefully never be repeated. In Nampa, I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, Idaho News 6.
This case has captivated the attention of people all around the world, with hundreds of thousands of people weighing in on the investigation from the start in public groups on social media. Now, one of those members who started commenting right after the murders and went quiet after the suspect's arrest drew quite a bit of attention. Many in a Facebook group following the investigation became convinced the account under the name Papa Roger was Bryan Kohberger, and today, for the first time, investigators completely debunked that theory, saying definitively it was not him.
Right. There was no connection. There wasn't at all. And we looked into every bit of it. We took a deep dive into it. We researched it.
It wasn't him?
It was not. It was not. Thank you. We can cut that off.
The Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is here in Boise, and he's joined by Governor Brad Little to celebrate the Make America Healthy Again campaign in Idaho. But some Idahoans are not happy about it.
Hey Treasure Valley, we have a nice clear start waking up with plenty of sunshine, lower 90s this afternoon. I'll show you how the heat turns up for next week, and then also our storm chances coming up.
Idaho News 6 Allergy Report is brought to you by Boise Valley Asthma and Allergy Clinic.
The allergy count looks really good as we get ready for our weekend. Grass, quinopod, and pine all in the low category. So I'll keep my eye on this as we start to get ready for the weekend plans, and I'll keep you up to date right here.
Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is here in Boise, and he's here to celebrate the Make America Healthy Again campaign. I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel here at the state capitol, where Governor Brad Little hosted the secretary, but the press conference was met with protesters outside.
And I don't really think he has any idea what he's doing right now. I mean, he's unqualified in every position that he has taken right now.
Protesters gathered outside the Idaho State Capitol Wednesday morning as Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. arrived in Boise. Kennedy expressed his enthusiasm about visiting the Gem State.
Well, I'm very happy to be here in Idaho, which is our home of medical freedom.
While some Idahoans have concerns about the state's healthcare system, the secretary praised Governor Brad Little's leadership.
This state, with any state in the country, stands for not only medical freedom, but a healthy population. A lot of that was because of the leadership of Governor Little.
But for some residents like Colin Kermagin, whose mother is battling cancer, the reality is much different.
I have a lot of family with medical issues, and the state of our healthcare in our country is abysmal at best. The care is too expensive. You're in debt just to live.
Kennedy says the new Make America Healthy Again campaign, ushered in Idaho, will benefit all residents, even those with lower incomes.
I think it's 18% of the food stamp program that goes to candies or sodas. And so we're poisoning the poorest Americans, giving them diabetes, and then we're paying for it with Medicaid in the long run.
Kermagin argues that this perspective misses the mark for many Idahoans.
People who require insulin need it. They don't get an option. They didn't make that choice. They need it.
The press conference ended with Governor Little signing a proclamation with several initiatives, many aimed at children's health, including limiting cell phone use in Idaho schools.
Reflects a commitment toward children's academic excellence and character development.
The proclamation also highlighted the state's commitment to environmental health initiatives.
Clean, reliable water infrastructure, ensuring long-term public health and resource stewardship for generations to come.
Also at the press conference, Governor Brad Little proclaimed August 2025 as Keep Idaho Healthy Month. At the state capitol, I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel for Idaho News 6.
Your neighborhood, brought to you by ICCU.
This week's Love Your Neighborhood is the Aquarium of Boise, where you can come and get up close and personal with some sea life. So cute.
This is our largest snake. Her name is Freya, and so Freya is 10 feet long from head to tail. She weighs about 30 pounds. The Aquarium of Boise is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we are a community-based public aquarium. I've been doing marine science for 27 years. I originally started at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, California when I was 17, and then I moved to beautiful Caldwell, Idaho in 2008 and helped start the aquarium here in 2011. It's a busy time, especially in the summer. Lots of opportunities for people to interact with the rays. We have 5 rays here total. it's a really good opportunity for people to kind of see a lot of stuff they wouldn't normally see in Idaho. We mostly have tropical species here, from saltwater to freshwater. We have snakes and lizards and birds and amphibians and axolotls and frogs, and it's always our goal and our hope to expand and build bigger into the future. And so this is a public feed tank. It's fun to just like rip off a seaweed square and then they can hold it underwater and they'll eat it right out of your hand. Most of the comments we get from the general public is the interactivity that they mostly don't get at some of the other aquariums they might visit. We're not supported by the state, we're not funded by the city, and so we're completely reliant upon community donations and community support in order to care for our operation, take care of our animals, maintain our exhibits, upgrade our exhibits, and so without the community, we wouldn't have a public aquarium. We just want to be our own individual community-focused aquarium.
Be sure to come check out all the fun exhibits they have for you and your family. Sophia Cruz reporting from Boise, Idaho, News 6. Oh, hello.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Rise and shine, everyone, quite literally, especially if you're waking up in Twin Falls. Good morning to you. It's nice to see your face on this Thursday, and take a look. The sun is up and shining. It feels really nice outside too, mid-60s, but this is really just a beauty shot. So if you get any photos you take of the sunrise this morning, send them in so we can show them off throughout the morning. Either way, high temperatures this afternoon. This is where the sun gets not so nice for us. You've got 97 in Glenns Ferry, 97 into Ontario, mid-90s stretching into your valley floors. If you're in our mountains, it'll feel still pretty nice up there with those lower 80s. But throughout the evening, we are going to heat up. So through 8 o'clock, we'll at least still be sitting through those 90s. If you have any late evening plans, it is still going to be pretty warm out there, so heads up on that end. By 9 o'clock and into 10 p.m., you've got lower 80s starting to head onto the board. We won't notice too many changes for this morning. It's pretty nice and clear, but as we head into the later evening, around 6 o'clock, we'll see some moisture move up from the south. This will bring on some isolated storm chances towards our southern areas. So from eastern Oregon into our Waikis and into the Magic Valley, you could run into a thunderstorm or two. By Friday morning, it's a quiet start waking up for us. Then by that afternoon, same chances, but it's really going to focus over eastern Oregon and in Rome, possibly bringing a few stray showers up to Ontario. By 9 o'clock into Saturday, we see that same storm chance for upper Treasure Valley. But again, it's not widespread impacts that we're looking at. It's just these late evening storms moving through. Now, the one thing we will start to count on, and really we already know is going to around the corner, the heat. So taking a look at our temperature outlook as we even start thinking about wrapping up July. This is July 30th through August 3rd. This shows us that we are in a warmer than normal temperature outlook, which means that we have a good likelihood of seeing above average temperatures. Now, just to show you the larger picture, you've got that moisture coming in from the south, and as we make our way into the weekend, we see these 2-week cold fronts move through our northern portion of the state and then over into eastern Idaho, but it doesn't really do much for us. The heat starts to build in as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday, with this ridge really starting to move through. That'll bring on that chance for some southerly flow, which really increases our temperatures, but also brings in that monsoonal moisture, so we'll be looking at some scattered showers, it looks like, into next week. Either way, this week it is still going to be hot, but just not as hot as next week. You've got Saturday and Sunday lower 90s, and the next week there it isn't really too nice. So you've got 96 by Monday, 99 into Tuesday, 104 possible into Thursday. So triple digit heat is making a return. What also is making a return though are our morning commutes. Let's go take a look at your roads.
Idaho News 6 traffic is brought to you by Champion Windows.
All right, everybody, 6:51 is your time, and taking a look at that gorgeous sunrise. I like when the sunrise looks like this. It knows it's going to be a good morning ahead of us. All right, our roads right now. You've got Karcher Road as you head east or westbound on that road, starting to look at a little slow up there, and then also as you approach I-84 westbound, another area of stop and go. So you make your way from Caldwell into downtown right now. It does look like our times are rising a little bit more rapidly for it only being 6:52. It's at about 35 minutes. So heads up if you're heading into downtown from Caldwell. Westbound lane still looks pretty good at under 27 minutes.
In this morning's GMA First Look, What's behind Florida's string of summer shark bites?
I was just about to get it unhooked, and she got spooked and started flailing around, thrashing. She went upside down, and then she just kind of rolled.
This is the moment diver Jeff Joel was bitten by a lemon shark. Joel was trying to free the shark from some diving gear. He received 40 stitches, but Joel says he'd do it again, speaking out to GMA.
Anytime I see some, a shark or any animal in distress, I'm going to help them. I know the sharks pretty well. I've never been bitten by a shark, and I've been around them, bull sharks and everything. I mean, at least a dozen bull sharks at a time, and they've never had an issue. This was just something where a shark was scared.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on these shark encounters and hear from the survivors. With your GMA First Look, I'm Victor Oquendo, ABC News, Miami.
Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. We're just wrapping up here, and in case you missed it, these are our top stories we're following from our neighborhood reporters. During impact statements at Brian Koberger's hearing yesterday, Olivia Gonzalez, the oldest sister of murder victim Kaylee Gonzalez, had strong words for her sister's killer. During a powerful 10-minute statement, Olivia calling him a delusional, pathetic loser and telling him to sit straight up when she's talking to him. A popular conspiracy theory also debunked at Koberger's sentencing. Investigators confirmed there's no connection between Brian Koberger and the Facebook account Papa Roger, which many online speculated may have been a fake account of his. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. visited the Idaho State Capitol on Wednesday to launch the Make America Healthy Again campaign alongside Governor Brad Little. You can learn more about all of these stories on our website, idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
All right, well, we've got another hot afternoon in store, but the mornings look nice and cool still. You've got lower 70s through 9 a.m. By lunchtime, we'll be touching into those 80s, so if you want to do some patio weather, it'll still be good for that. But again, we still head to those lower 90s as we make our way into 5 o'clock today, so heads up. This is merely, again, for a warm-up for the triple-digit heat that's on the horizon for next week. If you want to find out more about that, you can head on over to idahonews6.com. Right now, we're going to go ahead now and head over to your morning commute.
Idaho News 6 traffic is brought to you by Champion Windows.
All right, 6:57 is your time, and we're giving you a look of downtown where the sun is shining. It's Thursday or Friday Eve, so as you head into work, tomorrow is the best commute of the week. But for today, we still got a good commute. You've got right now, though, some slowdown as you make your way onto eastbound I-84, so heads up if you're going in that direction. As far as our drive times go and what it looks like out there right now, it looks pretty clear if you're heading on the I-84 near the Y, but if you are making your way along anywhere, really even into downtown, if you're making your way, just a little stop and go as you make your really approach in from Garden City. But Caldwell to Garrity looks to be the heftiest time this morning at 20 minutes. Garrity into Eagle and Eagle into downtown. I know they're both red, but it's just about 8 and 7, so it's not too bad out there. Either way, Allie, it's Thursday, which means tomorrow's Friday, and I'm ready for the weekend.
Yes, it's Friday Eve, as Sophia would say, and it's going to be a warm day today and a warm weekend. Typical summer weather here in Idaho. Thanks so much for joining us, all viewers at home, on Good Morning Idaho. We hope you have a lovely Thursday. We got more details on all of the stories we covered on idahonews6.com, and we'll see you back here on Good Morning Idaho at 11 a.m.